All right, guys. While we've been talking endlessly about the debate and whether or not Joe Biden's going to drop out, there is still a genocide going on. There's still a genocide. There's still an ethnic cleansing. And we got even more evidence and more detail now of what honestly I think you can fairly categorize as systemic IDF rape of Palestinians. So this is in Plus 972 magazine. They reported 6 new cases of IDF soldiers raping kidnapped Palestinian civilians at the Sidi Teman prison camp. This is actually like a concentration camp. And they forced other prisoners to watch. So here we go. This is what it says. An Arab also testified to his lawyer that Israeli guards sexually assaulted 6 prisoners with a stick in front of the other detainees after they had violated prison orders. When he talked about rapes, I asked him, Mohammed, you're a journalist. Are you sure about this? Mahajine recounted, but he said he saw it with his own eyes and that what he was telling me was only a small part of what was happening there. Multiple media outlets, including CNN and the New York Times, have reported on instances of rape and sexual assault at Sidi Teman. In a video circulating on social media earlier this week, a Palestinian prisoner recently released from the detention camp said that he had personally witnessed multiple rapes and cases in which Israeli soldiers made dogs sexually assault prisoners. So we talked about that. They train dogs, allegedly, to rape Palestinian prisoners. So the New York Times in June reported that Israel is raping kidnapped Gazans in this prison camp. A Gazan died after penetration by an electric stick. A female IDF officer ordered the rape of a senior Gazan nurse. A UN worker was forced to sit on a, quote, hot metal stick. Last April, Haaretz reported multiple rapes. They were led to the kitchen when they were stripped and forced to lie on top of the other. They were beaten with clubs and spat on. A guard then started to stuff carrots into the anus of Abu Halil and other prisoners. In February, UN experts reported that at least 2 cases of Gazan women being kidnapped by the IDF and raped in detention. The report didn't receive any significant mainstream media coverage and passed unnoticed. By the way, that's the story here too, is that we had absolute flimsy evidence of systemic Hamas rape of Israeli civilians, and that story fell apart under scrutiny. Were there isolated incidents? Perhaps, yes. But was it a systemic thing? Absolutely not. There's no evidence it fell apart. And, that's been detailed extensively, right? But here we have what appears to be systemic rape of Palestinians and absolute frickin' crickets from mainstream media. We got more. In March, a Canadian doctor was informed of a case of a Gazan woman who was raped for 2 days by the IDF until she lost her ability to speak. Another was stripped of her clothing by Israeli soldiers in front of her husband and brother. When they protested, the IDF killed both. In June, the UN found evidence of systemic Israeli sexual violence against Gazan women, children, and men as a matter of policy. This included women being stripped down to their underwear and sexually harassed while male relatives are forced to watch. Jesus Christ. Again, this is the UN that found this. The UN. And we have more. I mean, look, this thread goes on here. Let me give you some more updates. Scoop, a third Biden administration appointee has resigned over Gaza. Quote, serving in the administration in any capacity does essentially make you complicit in the genocide of Palestinians, argued Mariam Hassanein, accusing the president of dehumanization of Arabs and Muslims. So this woman is Muslim and she was like, I can't, what are we doing here? I can't partake in this. This is insanity. Breaking, Israel has approved the largest seizure of land in the occupied West Bank in over 3 decades, anti-settlement watchdog says. By the way, what did I tell you the other day? We saw Biden on that debate stage. He's old, he's feeble, his brain's not working, he's coasting off of the momentum of the past. I told you, this is probably one of the main reasons why Netanyahu feels like he can get away with anything and everything. He knows nobody's home in terms of the US president to reel him in. He knows that. I honestly don't think he would have gone as far as he's gone if just Obama were president. But now we're witnessing it firsthand. So Biden's old, feeble nature is help leading to this. They announced the largest seizure of land in the occupied West Bank in over 3 decades. Guys, they are moving in. They are attempting their final solution. I use those words purposefully. I use them purposefully. All right. And then I'll give you this one. Jesus Christ, this one is so dark. This one is so dark. So here we have the Israeli Minister of National Security blatantly declaring, quote, yes, we treat prisoners barbarically by design, and to solve prison overcrowding, we'll start mass execution. He's essentially shouting on social media, we're turning our concentration camps into death camps, and we're damn proud of it. The level of impunity is mind-blowing, and 100% thanks to American backing, together with some other Western states playing along. The world needs to face reality. A terrifying ideology is slowly setting down on the West. Actions and ideology are always tied at the hip. You can't have one without the other. If you're doing something or supporting someone doing something, you need some rationalization to back it up. So anyway, if you think, by the way, this is Ben Gvir. We all know how horrific Ben Gvir is. That was not an exaggeration. It is very possible that even after the addition of the new prisons is completed, the many terrorists will still be overcrowded in prison. I have already proposed a much simpler solution of enacting the death penalty for terrorists, which would solve the overcrowding issue. Legislation to which the Shin Bet is also vehemently opposed, but until this legislation, with God's help, is passed, nothing will happen. If the Nohava terrorists who burned a baby girl on October 7th, it will be crowded in the prison cell where he died. So what he's saying there is, look, we're building all these new prisons. Isn't that wonderful? We have horrible conditions. We're basically torturing them. Isn't that wonderful? But hey, even with these new prisons, if it's overcrowded, let's just start killing everybody. So in other words, you want your concentration camp to become a death camp, and you're bragging about it. This guy is a Nazi. This guy is a Nazi, and he's proud of the fact that he's a Nazi. All right, so there's your breakdown, man. Still a genocide, still an ethnic cleansing, still a senile president who's refusing to crack down, refusing to cut off the money, refusing to cut off the weapons. I'm sick and tired of living through history. And I think it's time for the good guys to rise up and put an end to this absolute savagery and barbarism, which is readily apparent in front of our faces every single day. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.